Hello everyone, my name is Sanjeev Tiwari. So if you remember, in the last class we studied about the causes and the leadership of revolt of 1857. So today we will discuss what were the consequences and the reasons of its failure. So the heading for today is revolt of 1857. First we will see the reasons for its failure. You have to write like this only: reasons for its failure. You have to make your notes very precisely. So the first reason was that it lacked an all India participation. All India participation was missing. You can write like this. So why I am saying like that? Because see, the revolt was, basically limited to this area only, the northern belt. The western part was unaffected, eastern part remained largely unaffected, and the southern part also was largely unaffected by this. So it lacked an all India participation. It was a major reason for its failure. I am writing the reasons in chronological order, starting from the most important. That is the first. Second reason was all classes did not join. So you must be thinking which classes I am talking about. See, classes like big zamindars, money lenders and merchants, so why they did not join the revolt? Because they had their benefit in East India Company's rule. That's why they did not join the movement. And some Indian rulers, to give you few example, Indian rulers like Scindia of Gwalior, Holkar of Indore, and Maharaja of Kashmir, they did not join, and they supported the British side. So this was a major drawback of revolt of 1857. So these were the classes, and also educated Indians. So why these educated Indians did not join the movement? Because they saw this as opposite to modernization. They were in favor of modernization, and they saw this revolt as in opposition to the modernization. That's why they were indifferent to this revolt. So this is the second point. Now we are moving to the third point, which is they used old weapons and strategies. See, this is also very important. Old weapons like spears and swords. Just imagine fighting with spears and swords against an army who is carrying latest Enfield rifle. You have to salute their bravery. So this is what is the third point, and now we are moving to the fourth point. Also their strategies were also very old, traditional strategy, traditional methodologies they were using. Now next is lack of central leadership and coordination. See, The leadership on the Indian side, like Tatya Tope, Nana Sahib, Rani Lakshmibai, they were no match against their British counterpart, who were having men of exceptional abilities like Lawrence Brothers and John Nicholson, James Outram. So they were no match in front of their British counterparts. Next point is lack of communication between leaders. This is also very important. See, if the leaders are not able to communicate with each other, how will they strategize the revolt? And on the Britishers side, they were using electric telegraph and they were knowing each and every details of the rebels. So this is also a major drawback. And last point is lack of, or no, or you can write no unified ideology. Unified ideology. See, they did not have a specific unified ideology. Everyone was fighting for their own grievances and they had nothing to replace the British rule. For removing something, you also need to have some backup plan. What will be in place of that rule? So they did not have a unified ideology. So these are the points you have to remember. All India participation was missing. As I've told you, the eastern, western and southern part remained largely unaffected. All classes did not join. Big zamindars, moneylenders and merchants, they had their profit in the British rule, and Indian rulers and educated Indian rulers like Scindia of Gwalior, Holkar of Indore, you have to remember these, and Maharaja of Kashmir. Educated Indians did not join because they saw these revolt as backward. Old weapons and strategies, spears, they use spears and swords in front of latest Enfield rifle. Lack of central leadership and coordination. See, Indian side they had Rani Lakshmibai, Tatya Tope and Nana Sahib, and they were no match in front of the British counterpart like James Outram, John Nicholson and Lawrence Brothers. Lack of communication, they did not have a medium of communication between the leaders, and lack of unified ideology. They did not have a unified ideology. Everyone was fighting for their own set of grievances, like Rani Lakshmibai was fighting for Jhansi and so on. So now we will see the consequences of revolt of 1857, which is also very important because many a times they ask questions directly from the consequences, like they will give you a question in MCQ form, which of these was not a consequence, and they were right points and you have to find out. So you have to remember each and every consequence of revolt of 1857. We will see, let me rub this. So now we will see the consequences of the revolt of 1857. So as I've said in my previous video, this was a major turning point in the history of modern India, because you will see many changes after this. Changes in the system of government, policies of government, administration related policies, social and religious policies, everything changed after this. So write the heading, consequences of revolt of 1857. We will see a few of them here. First is very important, East India Company was abolished. And Crown took over. What is the meaning of this? See, before the revolt could be suppressed, the British government passed an act, Government of India Act 1858, which is also called Act for Better Government of India, and it declared Queen Victoria as the sovereign of British India, and with this came end of East India Company, and the power shifted directly in the hands of British Parliament. So this point is very important. Crown took over after this. You can also write Government of India Act 1858 was enacted after this. It had many provisions. It's a different topic for some other day. Like I will name a couple of them. It appointed a Secretary of State for India, and also it changed the title of Governor General of India to Viceroy of India. And who was the first Viceroy of India? Let me know in the comment section. Next is Army was reorganized in 1861. So what was the reorganization? See, first Indian soldiers were decreased because now Britishers lost their faith in Indians. Indian soldiers were reduced. Were decreased. And on the other hand, very obvious, European soldiers were increased. Third is they created separate classes. They created separate sections or in the army in accordance with the caste section and the place they belong to. This was basically divide and rule policy of British government, which came after the revolt of 1857. Higher post in military were reserved for European soldiers only. European soldiers. See, no Indian could ever think about reaching the top level in the army because after revolt of 1857, because they had reserved every post like officer rank for European soldiers only. Third is, see, that is why you have to see what is happening. That is why I said it is a major turning point in modern history. See the changes. Next is era of expansion came to an end. See, before 1857, British government was more focused on annexation and expansion of their territories. But after this, they became more accommodative towards socio-cultural and religious practices of Indian people. They also gave many rights. They also promised, not gave, they promised to give many rights and equality to Indians. And the last point will be policy of divide and rule began. You will see that after this British government decided their policies in accordance with divide and rule. They created separate class, separate sections in the army. They used one class or community against other class community. So this created divide amongst Indian people because British government was very smart. They did not wanted another revolt of 1857 to take place. So that's why they divided community. They also introduced hypothetical thing like martial races and non-martial races, that Punjabis are of martial races, Gorkha regiment is of martial races, and they appointed or recruited soldiers from that place only. So you can imagine how smartly they captured India and how difficult was it for coming Indian freedom fighters to win India back. You have to take note of this and revise the topics again. So if you have any doubt, you can comment down in the section and I will see you in the next one. Till then, bye.